Good morning, children. Today in this class I am going to explain about inversion of temperature. The concept inversion of temperature. In the previous class we have discussed about the concept of the relationship between temperature and height. Relationship between temperature and height, and about the average temperature, and about average minimum and average maximum temperature. These are the topics which we have discussed in the previous class. In this class I am going to explain about the concept inversion of temperature. How the temperature is inverted. In the previous class we have discussed about as we move from the surface of the earth to the heights, the temperature will be decreased for about 1000 meters of height. If you move from the surface of the earth to the height, then it is about 6.4 degrees of Celsius will be decreases. 6.4 degrees Celsius will be decreases. It around 6 degrees of temperature. Degrees Celsius of temperature will be decreases as we move from the surface of the earth to the height. Okay, that is we have discussed in the previous class. It means as we move away from the surface of the earth, the temperature is very low. But in this class, I am going to explain about inversion of temperature. Inversion of temperature. How? What is about this? The concept of inversion of temperature. Okay, just in the previous class we have discussed the places which are far away from the surface of the earth is having very low temperature. Now in this class I am going to explain why during the mornings of winter season we can see the very low temperatures in the surface of the just near the surface of the earth. Okay. Now let us see about the concept of inversion of temperature. During the winter mornings there is very low temperature we can see or we can found at near the surface of the earth. How it is possible? Just now we have in the previous class we have discussed about the temperature is as we move from the surface of the earth the temperature is very high. The temperature on the surface is very high. Why? Because the radiation is going from the surface of the earth. That's why the distance between the surface of the earth and as is decreases, then the temperature will be decreases. Okay. Now during the winter mornings, entire night is having snowfall. During the winter season, the entire night is having snowfall. It has snowfall. Due to the snowfall, it insulates the less amount of solar energy. Why? Because during the months of winter season, it is having long nights. It is having due to long nights, and it is having very high snowfall. Not only high snowfall. Due to snowfall on the surface of the earth is completely radiates the heat at the time of evening. From the time of evening to the morning, the entire night, during the night, the snow will fall, or it cools this snow cools the surface of the earth. It cools the surface of the earth. That's why during the winter seasons, the temperature will be inverted on the surface of the earth. As we have seen in the previous class, the temperature will be decreases as we move far away from the surface of the earth. But during the winter season, at the time of mornings, we can see the inversion of temperature. Why? Because due to the snowfall is present on the surface of the earth during the winter seasons. Winter seasons have very long night days, and in these nights the snowfall is also occurring. That's why the surface nearer to the earth, that is very cool, that is very cooler than the surface or the atmosphere which is far away from the earth. In the previous class we have discussed about the relationship between height and temperature. As we move far away from the surface of the earth to the height, then the temperature will be decreases. But in this case, the temperature decreases. The lower temperature we can find at the surface of the earth. Because during the winter season it is having long nights. During the entire nights, the snowfall or the radiation of solar energy is very low. The radiation of solar energy is very low. Due to these reasons, the temperature will be inverted. The temperature on the just surface of the earth is very cooler than the atmosphere's temperature. This is the concept of inversion of temperature. And now, temperature, different temperatures on different parts, different regions. How the temperature varies from one place to another place. From the previous classes onwards, we have discussed about this topic. Whenever the sun rays directly falls wherever, then that region is having very high amount of heat. That suppose when you see the equatorial region is getting high amount of solar energy. Why? Because the sun rays falls directly 90 degrees. Sun rays falls directly on this equatorial region. On this equatorial region. Suppose if you see these polar regions, the sun rays are slantingly falls in these polar regions. That's why these polar regions are having low temperatures, and on this equatorial region, due to the sun rays which are passed directly on this equatorial region, it is having very high temperatures when we compare with the polar regions. And the countries which are passing the equator, which passes through the countries, are having very high temperature. Why? Because the sun rays directly falls on this equatorial region. That's why the countries which are passing through the equatorial region, those are having very high temperatures, like Singapore. Okay, especially Singapore in the continent of Africa, some countries are passed by this equatorial region. That's why the countries which are passed by this equator, those are having very high temperatures during any season throughout the year. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, then how can you measure the temperature? With the help of Celsius thermometer or with the help of 6 maximum thermometer, we can calculate we can measure the temperature in a day. With the help of 6 maximum temperature Celsius temperature thermometer and Celsius thermometer, we can calculate the thermometer. Then how can you locate the places? How can you locate the places is having some temperature? Suppose if you see the Singapore is having the high temperature, then how can you locate or how can you identify the places which are having with high temperatures, or which places are having low temperatures? With the help of thematic maps. In the previous classes, in the first lesson, we have discussed about thematic maps. How the thematic maps are used. Thematic maps are used to represent only one aspect, like rainfall, temperature, climatic conditions. These are the aspects we can represent on the maps. Okay, with the help of temperature maps, we can locate we can identify the different temperate zones on the earth. On the equatorial region, This is the equatorial region. This region is having very high amount of very high values of temperatures we can find here, and this is the region of moderate temperature region. From here onwards to here, this is moderate temperature region, and this region is polar region. It is having very low. It is having very low temperatures. We can see very low recordings of temperature we can find. Okay, this is about the lesson. This is about the lesson, the energy from the sun. Okay, in the next class we will start new lesson. Thank you, children.